Welcome to Women in Resistance, a powerful podcast where we honor the courage, resilience, and revolutionary spirits of women across the globe. Hosted by Aya Fubara Eneli Esquire and Adesoji Iginla, we uncover untold stories of defiance against systemic oppression. Whether colonialism, racism, sexism, or economic injustice. From historic icons like Winnie Mandela and Fannie Lou Hamer to today's trailblazers, we shine a light upon those shaping a more just world. This is a call to honor the past, embrace the present, and build an empowered future.
The reason today you are talking to me, and so many other people have talked to me, talked about me, interviewed me. Do you know that I had lunch with the First Lady, Hillary Clinton? Do you know that the United Nations, they wanted to give me an award, but I did not go on plane. So I told them somebody can go for me and get the award. And they said no. And they came to Hattiesburg and gave me the award.
Yes, greetings, and welcome to another episode of Women in Resistance. I am your host, Adesoji Iginla. I'm joined by the brilliant Aya Fubara Eneli Esquire. And it is at this point, in light with general talking points, that I have to stress this point, that I should remind everyone that's watching, but also would later be listening, that Aya will be embodying the character of the remarkable women that we tend to talk about in the course of our conversations. And so it's our own little way of showing appreciation for what they've done so that we can actually then have a true sense of understanding of what they went through, who they were, and as it were. So, and it's a testimony to the brilliance of Aya that people are actually quite taken in by the fact that they actually think they're listening to the person she is embodying. But that said, today we are looking at the remarkable but extraordinary story of Oseola McCarty. Who is Oseola McCarty? I would let her speak for herself. Welcome.
Thank you. I am honored to be here with you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. We're honored to have you. So we've heard the name Oseola McCarty. Could you give us a little story behind said name?
So my family, they will call me Ola. Many of my godchildren now and the young people that I've helped, when they come around, they call me Miss Ola, Mama Ola. I was born in Shubuta, Mississippi, Wayne County. And, my people, I was born on March 7th, 1908. Now, some of you may remember, things were very different at that time for Black people. We didn't call ourselves Black people, we called ourselves the colored folk. And they will call us Negro, or the other word that I'm not going to use. So this was not too far from slavery. Many of the colored people, maybe if you got work as a sharecropper or in the mines, the laborer, the women, we will cook for white people. We will take care of their babies. We would wash their clothes. So my parents, my mother's name was Lucy, and they sent me to live with my grandmother in Hattiesburg when I was about 4 or 5 years old. And they went to work in the bigger towns. But my grandmother did not want me to go to those towns. She did not feel like those were, a good place to raise a child. Now, in Hattiesburg, It was the headquarters for the Mississippi Central Railroad. So there was quite lot of work for Black people, not good, the colored people, not great jobs, but jobs.
All the same, yeah.
And so my uncle, he worked in Hattiesburg. My uncle, his family, my aunt Evelyn, my grandma, and me, we lived in the same 6-room house. First, my uncle was renting the house, and then he worked and said, I come from people we are a working people. From slavery. You know what happened to us in slavery time. You know how they would just use our bodies, use our work, but we did not have much for ourselves. And when we came out of that, we still had that mind to work, to do something, to build for ourselves. And so my grandmother, she would take clothes. They would get it in bundles. And the bundle of clothes, one bundle, maybe $1, $1.50. And she will wash the clothes, fold, iron, all of that, and return to the people. And there was plenty of that kind of work for her. So when my parents went to a town called Dilo, where my stepfather worked in a turpentine industry, my grandmother said, no, let her stay with me. And as a small child, I started to watch my grandmother. I wanted to help with the work. And I would, as I grew older, do a little more. Sometimes I would deliver the clothes. Sometimes I would pick it up. Sometimes in the morning, I wake up and I do my chores, which include I would go and look for firewood, because we had a big pot that you have to make sure the fire doesn't go out. And then you put the clothes in the pot of water and boil the clothes first. Then you bring them out and then you scrub them on the washer board. And then you rinse one time and then you rinse a second time. Then you wring it and then you hang it on the lines. So I stayed with my grandmother and that family, and then my uncle, he now had enough money from working, saving from laborer work. He got a house for his family. So my uncle moved, but we stayed in that 6-room house, that first 6-room house. Later, my uncle worked enough. He bought that house. And after a long while, he gave me the house. And I lived in that house from when I was about 5 years to when I died, 1999. But my uncle worked and gave the house for his mother and my aunt and me to live, but then gave the house to me. As a child, I loved to help my grandmother. I loved to make mud pies. We used to make dolls with dried grass. And then I went to school. The school, remember again the time period. It's sometimes hard maybe for people to understand today what it was like at that time. But we had Jim Crow laws. You've heard Jim Crow.
Could you explain to people listening what?
So with the Jim Crow, the white people did not want us to go to their schools. They did not want us to live where they lived. They did not want to. They separated it. Even to drink water is from a water fountain. Even if you are going to go on any transportation, it's a colored section. Our churches, everything completely separate. Always made me think. Because my Aunt Evelyn, she used to work for a white family. And every morning she will get up and go to their house and do everything for them and cook for them. If somebody can cook your food that you're going to eat, how is it now a problem
Cohabit with them.
to ride in the same car or something, to sit in the same schoolhouse? So the school I went to was only for Black children. School was okay, but I really liked to help my grandmother. And my Aunt Evelyn, she would leave in the morning and go and work. And by the time she would return to the house, it's very late. And my grandmother worked every day except Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. From before the sun will come up till after the sun goes down. It's very dark. My grandmother will work. And so when I was in the 6th grade, so when I get back from school, I will help my grandmother. As I started to get older, I would do more things. I didn't just fetch the firewood for the pot. I would also help. Sometimes my grandmother and I and my aunt, we will be ironing the clothes late at night. It's not the type of iron you have now. It was a type of iron. It's made of iron, of metal, but it has like an opening. And then you put hot coal inside and then close it. And then you iron with the heat of the hot coal coming through the bottom of the iron. It was very hard work, but we were happy and we would sing as we worked. When I was in the 6th grade, aunt had this surgery she got sick. And when she returned to the house, she could not walk. And my aunt, she had no children. So I said, I'll leave the school and come and help, because that's what you do. And it's not only me. Many young colored people, you had to help the family to eat, had to survive. So many did not finish school, if you even had school to go to. So when I was in the 6th grade, I left school to come and help my aunt, take care of my aunt, but also to help with the house, because now the money that my aunt was making from her work is not there. And I never did go back to school.
So how old were you at this time?
I don't exactly remember, but I would say maybe about 12 or 13. And I left school and I was happy to help my family. And we worked. I joined in that work of 6 days a week. We are working. Now, the reason today you are talking to me, and so many other people have talked to me, talked about me, interviewed me. Do you know that I had lunch with the First Lady, Hillary Clinton? Do you know that the United Nations, they wanted to give me an award, but I did not go on plane. I was not going to travel to Paris. Paris is how you say it?
Yes, Paris. Yeah, Paris.
And so I told them somebody can go for me and get the award. And they said no. And they came to Hattiesburg and gave me the award. But let me go back to the story. So we lived in this 6-room house. Every day we get bundles of clothes. We wash, we dry, some that need iron and the folding, and we give back. And we washed for many important people. People knew my grandmother and knew that she did a great job. And when my grandmother, what my grandmother taught me is you always save. So after the war, people were paying more money for the washing. But we did not change how we lived. My grandmother taught me how to save. So when I was still young, one day I had my money and I was dropping off some clothes for one of our customers. And I looked at the bank and I went in the bank and I asked how I can put my money. And they showed me and I did, and they put my money.
This was a black bank, I'm assuming.
Black bank at that time. Some of the banks, I put my money in many different banks, sometimes up to 5 banks.
Okay.
Because before I heard how colored people had put their money in a bank, and then the bank, during the Depression, the bank was gone and their money was gone. So then I told my aunt and my grandmother, and they went to the bank with me and they put their money, they opened their own account and put their money. I always believe any money you make, you must save some first for yourself. You don't spend everything. And I also believe when you put money in, you don't take it out. If you put it in and you don't take it out, it will grow. So other people, they will put money in and then they will go and take it out almost immediately. I never took any money out. When my grandmother died, she left me money, the little savings she had. I did not spend it, put it in my account. And then my mother died and the little savings she had, she gave me. And I put it in my account. I did not spend it. And when my aunt Evelyn died, I also took that money and I put in the account. I did not spend it. The work that we did, my grandmother, she taught me how to make our own soap. So what we would do, watching my grandmother, we would get big spoons of cooking grease and we put it in this hot water. And when the grease boiled, then you sprinkle crystals of red devil lye. Sprinkle crystals of red devil lye. You will sprinkle it, and then you add water, and then you boil the mixture. You stir it, and you stir it, and you stir it until it is smooth and thick. Then you carefully pick up that very hot pot, and you pour the soap into square pans, and then you allow it to cool. After it has cooled, then you can cut it into your soap bar, and that is the soap we use to wash the clothes. My grandmother taught me all of this. I learned to be a hard worker, like my people, and I did not complain. The elementary school I attended was called Eureka Elementary School. And I was a very shy child because most of the time I stayed with older people. I learned from them. So every morning, collect clothes, boil it, scrub it, rinse it, hang it to dry. Eventually, my uncle, he built something like a clothes where even if the weather is bad, inside there we can put the clothes to hang and dry. And then we got another thing where when you put the clothes, you turn it and turn it and turn it, and it helps to get the water out of the clothes so that the clothes are almost dry.
A wringer.
Yes. A hand wringer. So when you wring, you do, and that was my job to do that. And then it doesn't take as much time to dry. So we did all of that. I used to love just to see the white sheets blowing in the wind on we did not complain about the work. We were happy for the work, and there was always work. Washed clothes for more than 70 years of my life. I was 86 when, because of arthritis, it was hard to do the work.
Maneuver, yeah. Yeah.
because for 70 plus years, I had been scrubbing. You know, I bought a washing machine once. I gave it away.
Why did you give it to?
It does not wash the clothes clean. When we wash the clothes, you can see the difference. That washing machine. So I gave it to one of my relatives. I said, you can have it. I will wash my clothes with my hand. But one thing, sometimes when I will sit in front of my house, I will see the students coming and going to school. I wanted to learn more. In fact, when my Aunt Evelyn was in the hospital, I looked at those nurses and I wished stayed in school and become a nurse. So when my Aunt Evelyn came home, I was the best nurse she could have. And I would see these children going back and forth. And I thought to myself, cannot go, but maybe I can help somebody go. I never bought a car in my life. The store where we get our food was about 1 mile from my house. And once a week, I would take my basket. It had wheels. And I would walk to the store and buy my things and walk back. I will walk to my church and I will walk back. I think there were some people who maybe did not see me, did not think I was anybody. But I always knew that I was somebody, and I always knew that every kind of work is good work.
True.
But when you do that work, whatever work you're going to do it very well. Do it to the best you can do it. Now, the bank, the manager one day says, Miss, can we talk to you? He said, you have a lot of money in your account. What do you want to do with it? I had an idea, but I did not finish school, so I did not exactly understand. So as we talk, he found out I have all these other accounts, and we figured out how much money I have. And he said, what do you want to do with this money when you die? I said, well, I don't have any family, really. I never married. I have no children. So the manager, he said, okay. And I used to wash clothes for his family. Some of these families, they knew me because 70 plus years, and before then, even my grandmother. He said, okay, hold on. So he went and he got 10 dimes and he put the 10 dimes in front of me. He said, what are you thinking? I said, well, I'm thinking I want to give money for the children to go to university. And I was thinking of University of Southern Mississippi because colored children before could not go to that school.
You are listening to Women and Resistance with Aya Fubara Eneli Esquire and Adesoji Iginla, where we honor the voices of women who have shaped history through courage and defiance. If you're finding these stories inspiring, take a moment to subscribe, share, and support this platform. Together, we amplify the voices that deserve to be heard. Now, back to the conversation. Okay.
But now they can go to that school. And I said, I can help some of them go to that school. So on one paper, he wrote University of Southern Mississippi. I said, who else do you want to give some money? I said, my church. My church was very important to me. He said, okay. He wrote down the name of my church. And the church that I used to go to, the first bank that I put my money in, that very first bank, is the First Mississippi National Bank. And then the church that I used to go to, Friendship Baptist Church. And I read my Bible every day and prayed every night. So I said, I will give to my church. So he wrote my church, Friendship Baptist Church. And then I said, and I have 3 relatives. So he wrote their names. He said, okay, now using the dimes, explain how you want to. We're not going to think of all your money. Just use the dime like it's $1. How much will you give each? So on the church, I put 1 dime. And for my relative, each of the 3 of them, I put 1 dime for each. But my fingers were hurting. So he helped me to pick up
The dimes.
the 6th dime and put it for the University of Southern Mississippi. And then they helped to do all of the documents, everything. And they contacted the school and told the school, somebody is going to give you some money. Later, I heard the school was thinking, who is going to give us money? And they are probably thinking of some of the maybe rich students from that came from their school. Nobody was thinking of
a washerwoman.
When they heard about it, the president invited me to come, and they had a lunch in my honor. Then the newspapers started to tell the story, and I did not own a television. One time, the girls at the bank, because they've known me for a long time, they said, no, Miss Ola, you have to have an air condition, the one you put in the window. But I will only turn it on when I have guests. I didn't turn it on for myself. And they had this lunch for me, and everybody was so surprised. And I was still a little shy, but because I'm shy doesn't mean that I will not speak up for myself. So when they started to invite me to come to different places, the secretary for the president, a young, beautiful black lady, she was the one who would travel with me. Because after I came to Hattiesburg, I had never left Hattiesburg.
Wow.
And I would not go on a plane. So she would go with me on the train. It was a very exciting time. I told you about the United Nations Award. It was the Avicenna Prize. And then Harvard. Have you heard of that school? Harvard University?
Yeah, very prestigious university in the United States.
Harvard University. They gave me a doctorate degree. And I wore the cap and the gown, but I took the train to go. The University of Southern Mississippi gave me their first honorary doctorate degree. And then I was on Oprah, and she came to one place and she said, do you know who I am? And I said, yes, I know who you are. You are Oprah. And she was happy that I knew her. And I was happy that I was there. And I went to the Essence Awards, and Patti LaBelle sang for me. And then I also got the Presidential Citizens Medal. Bill Clinton gave me that award.
Wow. It's quite impressive.
And then at another event, his wife came, and the 2 men came in suit. Very tall men. I am a little woman. I'm on a good day, maybe 4 feet 10 inches, maybe. I was looking at them, and they said, are you Miss McCarty? Yes. And they said, you must come with us. Do that to an old black woman. And they said, no, the first lady wants to have lunch with you. And then the mayor of New York invited me to come. I'd never seen the thing. On New Year's Eve, they drop some ball. It's a very big thing for you people. And that was the first time I flew in a plane. These travels were the first time I stayed in a hotel in my whole life. Don't tell you those stories about what came, because that is something I was looking for or something that was important to me. I tell all of those stories because if you focus on your work and you do what you are supposed to do,
correct,
you can leave a legacy that you are proud of. See, some people make a lot of noise about what's wrong with the world. And they are usually blaming somebody else. I think people who don't like the way things are need to look at themselves first. They need to get right with God and change their own ways. If everybody did that, we would be all right. I want to show you something. 2 things that made all the difference in my life. People know me because a washerwoman, a woman in a house that most people will not consider anything, who worked 6 days a week for 70 plus years. No retirement, no insurance, just working. People may have thought my life is nothing, but let me show you that anybody can do something with their life. I had 2 things I used. One is my washer board. 6 days a week, I am washing somebody's clothes. I did not feel like I was not somebody because I'm washing somebody's clothes. The other thing,
Bible, faith.
every day, I read the Word of God. I did not bother what anybody thought, what anybody was doing. I worked and I read the Word of God. And these 2 things, with learning how to save from my family, hard work and learning how to save, is what took me to places I did not even know exist. I did not see it on TV. I did not watch the TV. I didn't know. When invited me to the football game at the University of Southern Mississippi, and they said everywhere, people, 30,000 people, and they announced that I gave $150,000 to the school. All of these people jumped up and started to cheer. I did not watch sports, never been on that university, never been in their lecture halls. But today, there is the Oseola McCarty Hall at the University of Southern Mississippi. They also unveiled a life-size bronze statue of me sitting and holding my Bible. And the students can come and sit with me. And of course, with my scholarship, other people they created what they call an endowment, and other people started to donate, put their money as well. They said they were inspired. And I said, so you mean this money is not just for a few students that I can pay for their school? You can put the money so it continues to grow and more students? And do you know that by 2023, over 130 students had received scholarships from the washerwoman savings? In 2025, that endowment that started with my life savings has reached $1 million and is now supporting 20 annual scholarships. And what did I use to get there?
Washer board.
So, what is it that you want to change in the world? And what do you have in your hand that you can use now to change the world? Can I tell you another story?
Please do. Please do.
So, we were going to go, I think maybe to Harvard. And they said, it's very cold. You need a coat. You need a good coat. And I had my regular things. And they said, no, there's this store. The store said they will give me a mink coat to wear, but just a loan. And then I have to bring it back. So when we got there to pick up the mink coat, they now said that they can't give it to me because then it will be used and then they can't sell it. So I said, how much is the coat? And they said, $3,000.
For a coat.
I was not washing clothes anymore because of the arthritis in my hand. And I did something that they talk about. I will not do it now because I don't want to show you like that. But I reached inside. Some of you have grandmothers. You remember this.
Yeah.
I reached inside
The trusted bag.
and I pulled out my money bag and I counted out the 3,000 and I paid for the coat. And I asked the young woman with me, do you want a coat too? And she said, no. But let me tell you about my money bags. When I was a young girl, before I even knew to put my money in the bag, when I get my money, I put it in a small bag that I sold. And then I sew it up. So the bag is sealed. So I can't just go and if I'm going to get that money, I have to rip the. My money was not as soon as I get money, you spend money. I was always a saver. So me and my grandmother and my aunt and my mother, we would collect our money in bundles and you sew the bundle into a bag. Yes, we get some fabric and we sew it. And then when I had a number of bundles, I would take it to the bank. But let me tell you the story I was going to tell you. I don't watch TV, but I heard that there's one channel that was called CNN. And the person who started that channel was a man called Ted Turner.
Right.
Ted Turner came to see me.
Wow.
Still lived in my little 6-room house. When I say 6-room, it's not 6-bedroom. 6-room include the kitchen, includes the bedroom, includes the bathroom, includes the front room, everything. The whole house, whatever the room is for, it's 6 rooms. And Ted Turner was a very rich man. And he said, I'm going to pledge $1 billion to the United Nations because you showed me if you can donate 150,000, I can donate 1 billion.
Which he did.
And after that is when some of his other millionaire friends started to take the pledge as well.
Yeah.
And so Warren Buffett, something like that, he
Warren
said
Buffett. Yeah.
he's going to give, I don't know how many billions or 50% or something, but Ted Turner said, me, the washerwoman, because of my generosity, inspired him to give 1 billion, and that inspired others to give too. This is what I know that my Bible teaches me. It is more blessed to give than to receive. And I know this because I have tried it. If I took that money to spend on myself, can I buy my way to a presidential medal? Can I buy my way to the United Nations giving me an award? I guess some people may have that kind of money, but I believed in my work. It does not matter to me that many people disregarded me if they just see me, a poor Black woman just walking to the store. I told the young people, I'm too old to get an education, but you can. And I would tell them, you better go to class. You better do not miss any class. I would tell young people today, don't take your education as a joke. Learn all you can learn. Work hard and do your best. I commenced to save money and I did not stop. So my end years were quite interesting from very, very humble beginnings to the life that I was now able to live. And I lived until 1999, September 26th. I was 91 years old. I lived to see some of the students use the scholarship, and many of them were like my children. They will come to the house. They will talk to me. Even though I didn't travel for many years of my life, those last few years were wonderful. But I never forgot what was important to me. So I gave 10% of we put aside money for my living, and then 10% of my savings to my church, 10% to each of my 3 relatives, and then 60% to the school.
Wow.
So those of you who like to do math, you can add up how much I saved to give away. When I die, many people came to my funeral. Community members, some clergy, local officials, and there was a memorial celebration for me who did not go past the 6th grade. The University of Southern Mississippi, a school that would not have allowed me to come and be a student, a school that had a very deep Jim Crow history as well. That school held a memorial celebration for me. I am very grateful for my life. I'm grateful that my family taught me to be disciplined. And I believe, and I have been told, that my discipline and my generosity reshaped philanthropy in this country. And so today, I did not live to meet her. I hear there is a young woman who is giving money all over the place to schools to educate Black children.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for her. Her name is Mackenzie Scott.
Yeah. Amazon money.
And again, can you die with your money?
No.
Can you take it anywhere? And each of those students who get that education, my message to them is
Responsibility.
do something good in the world with it.
Yeah.
Now, some people have written some books about me. One of them is called The Riches of Oseola McCarty, and that is this one. It's a small book. It's a children's book, but it captures my story. There's a documentary that has been done. There's a book of my wisdom, my wise sayings. It's called The Simple Wisdom for Rich Living. I will tell you, always pay yourself first.
Yeah.
And don't spend. When you save it. It's not just every time you're spending. And then another book, Oseola McCarty, Wake Up the World. So I talked for a long time, but I'm grateful to share my story. Do you have any final questions for me?
Yes. So the question is, what would you say inspired you to give away the money? Aside from the fact that you saw students just going, was it the yearning that you could have gone, or the fact that you felt, well, if I don't go, I have to pay somebody else's way?
Many things. When you are blessed, you be a blessing to other people. As a colored woman who had seen Jim Crow, seen the Depression,
The 2 world
seen
wars.
the 2 World Wars, seen the Civil Rights Movement, seen the changes that were beginning to happen and opportunities for colored children that we did not have before. And knowing that I did not get the education that I would have wanted to get, but that education is important. I want to see colored children as working in the bank. I want to see them as nurse. I want to see them as the doctors. I want to see them as the lawyers. So they need help to get an education. And when I looked at that school and all this time, colored children could not go there, I said, I want to open that door for more colored children. That's why.
Thank you. Thank you. And yes, you did open doors and also highlight the fact that Black women continue to bear the load with regards to communal giving. And you also highlighted the fact that wealth is not just for accumulation. It is with a purpose. So thank you.
So if I look at my whole life, first, I was wealthy in love with the surrounding of my family.
Uh-huh.
I was wealthy with discipline and the ability to work hard. I was wealthy with good health to wash clothes for 70 plus years. I was wealthy with wisdom to learn how to save and not to feel like I have to do what everybody else is doing. And because of all of that, I was wealthy financially. But the real wealth is the legacy. 130 students who have gotten an education
as a result
because of my savings. What can we all do if we just made up our mind and were disciplined? The wealth is first in your character. And then when you're wealthy in character, the other wealth will come. I did not chase fame. I did not look for any fanfare, but it found me because of my work as a washerwoman. Thank you for having me this evening.
No, thank you for coming. And yes, and with that, we've come to the end of another episode of Women in Resistance. We've been speaking to Oseola McCarty. You all know her as the benevolent washerwoman who gave away $150,000 to ensure that students who did not have the means were able to attend ST, specifically University of Southern Mississippi. And she also underscored the point that it had to be, in our words, colored students, for they didn't have that much resources to play with. So as we've come to the end of this episode, next week we'll be looking at the life and times of Edmonia Lewis. And this series is a part of showing our appreciation for the women who might otherwise have gone uncelebrated, because we now live in a world where people go viral. You might not be familiar with that word, become famous for nothing. So, and oftentimes than not, the role of Black women has been underplayed in society. So this series here is helping to change that narrative. Again, we thank you for coming, and for our audience and for our audience and listeners later, do like, share, subscribe. We're hoping to get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we're almost there, but we need more thumbs, as it were. So do subscribe, share, bring somebody else, and share the past episode. There are lots of lessons that can be learned. Until next time, Miss Oseola.
God bless you. God bless you.
And from me, it's good night and God bless. That is it for this episode of Women in Resistance. Thank you for joining us in amplifying the voices of women who challenged injustice and changed the course of history. Be sure to subscribe, share, and continue the conversation. Together, remember, we honor the past, act in the present, and shape the future. Until next time, stay inspired and stay in resistance.